guys, welcome to my brand new channel. Today we are literally doing something crazy because I just time traveled back to 600 BC. I am standing at the bottom of the legendary Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and the scale of this ancient wonder is absolutely unreal. Make sure to subscribe because we are about to explore every single lush green terrace and hidden royal pavilion in this massive desert oasis. Guys, I finally made it to the lower terraces, and the sheer scale of these hanging gardens is absolutely blowing my mind right now. Look at those massive wooden wheels behind me. They are literally pumping water up from the Euphrates River to keep everything so incredibly lush. The elite locals here are staring at me, probably wondering who let a travel vlogger into the royal pavilion, but I don't even care. It is surprisingly humid down here near the roots. You can feel the moisture in the air from all the irrigation channels flowing constantly. I found this exotic flower near the central courtyard, and the smell is so sweet it reminds me of modern perfumes back home. One of the workers just offered me some water from a clay jar. It is actually super refreshing after walking up those giant stone stairs. Look at this. Can you believe it? The Ishtar Gate. It's even more breathtaking in person. This place is magical. The golden hour sunlight up here on the top terrace is absolutely magical, giving the entire garden this crazy cinematic warm glow right now. These massive supporting walls are made entirely of baked mud bricks and bitumen, holding up thousands of tons of dirt and plants above us. They literally have fresh fruits growing everywhere you look. I just grabbed this pomegranate and the deep red color is just so gorgeous. The sheer drop from this upper balcony is honestly terrifying, but these beautiful trailing vines hanging over the edge make it totally worth the anxiety. The mist coming off these massive waterfalls is saving my life right now because the Mesopotamian sun is no joke. It is blazing hot. The pathways are totally packed with merchants carrying these heavy woven baskets of soil up the steps to maintain the upper garden levels today. This giant palm leaf is acting as my personal umbrella, providing the perfect amount of shade while I watch the royal court mingle around. You can barely hear the sounds of the city streets from way up here. It is completely peaceful except for the constant rushing water. A merchant just tried to sell me this little inscribed clay tablet, claiming it is a map of the gardens, but honestly, I am lost. If you watch closely, you can see the engineering genius of these wooden mechanisms lifting heavy buckets of water without any modern technology at all. I just crushed this tiny green leaf between my fingers, and it smells exactly like fresh mint mixed with something super spicy and earthy. The wind is really picking up on this high terrace, blowing my linen tunic around, but it feels amazing after climbing all those steep stairs. Look at the intricate weaving on this little basket someone left on the wall. The craftsmanship of these ancient workers is absolutely blowing my mind. The stones near these water wheels are covered in the thickest, softest green moss, and the air here feels almost like a tropical rainforest. I am literally obsessed with the gold jewelry the royal women are wearing here. It is so delicate but shines incredibly bright in the sun. Looking down from this height gives me crazy vertigo, but the scale of these step terraces descending into the city is purely breathtaking. I just bought this warm flatbread from a merchant on the lower path, and snacking while exploring this ancient wonder is honestly the best vibe. The grinding noise these giant wooden gears make is super loud, but seeing the continuous flow of fresh water is totally mesmerizing to watch. Look at the crazy vibrant colors of these hanging textiles. The deep purple and blue dyes they use are supposedly worth more than pure gold. Standing here on the highest balcony is genuinely making me emotional because seeing a true wonder of the world in person is completely surreal. The pathways down here are getting extremely dusty from all the heavy foot traffic, so I am constantly brushing this red dirt off my tunic. One of the local artisans gave me this tiny carved wooden token, and it is such a cute little souvenir to remember this epic day. I am gently tracing these incredible carvings on the stone pillars, and they apparently tell the romantic story of why the king built this garden. This merchant is selling giant clay pots filled with exotic spices, and the heavy aroma of cinnamon and myrrh is filling the whole terrace. I am definitely getting a serious workout climbing up beside these massive aqueducts, but feeling the cool mist off the water wheels helps instantly. I literally have no idea what kind of flower this bright pink blossom is, but the petals feel as soft as pure modern silk. The breeze up here is whipping my curls absolutely everywhere, but looking out over the winding Euphrates River makes it completely worth the mess. Look at this incredibly detailed little bronze coin I got as change. The face of the king stamped on it is just so crisp. I am holding tightly to this wooden railing because the stone steps are super slippery from all the water splashing out of the buckets. The royal guards are giving me a slightly suspicious look right now, probably because my bright linen tunic stands out against their heavy armor. Sitting near the edge of the world right now, watching the golden sun slowly set over the massive walled city is purely a vibe. I just picked up this perfectly ripe fallen fig from the stone path, and it smells incredibly sweet like a fresh jar of honey. That worker over there is incredibly strong, balancing 2 massive jugs of fresh river water on his shoulders while climbing these steep ancient stairs. There are musicians playing these ancient stringed instruments just behind me, and the acoustic echo in this royal pavilion is just absolutely stunning. Looking straight down the edge of this massive brick structure literally makes my stomach drop. It is incredibly high up here right now. The humidity trapped between these lush lower terraces is pretty intense today, so this little woven fan is literally my best friend. A huge splash of freezing cold river water just hit my neck, and honestly, it was the most refreshing thing to happen all day. The columns here are painted with these incredibly vivid blue and gold patterns, showcasing exactly how wealthy this royal empire truly is. I am snacking on these wild green grapes while enjoying the view, and they are surprisingly sour but still incredibly juicy and good. This heavy linen outfit is actually quite breathable, but I am definitely still getting used to wrapping this traditional waist sash properly today. That high wooden aqueduct crossing over our heads is steadily dripping water onto the ferns below, creating this perfect artificial rain shower effect. A lovely local girl just traded me this tiny, beautiful glazed ceramic bead in exchange for one of my simple modern hair ties. The strong, warm wind up here is constantly blowing my hair straight into my face, making this aesthetic vlog look extremely dramatic. I just bought this little bundle of sweet-smelling incense from a passing merchant, and they burn it constantly to keep the mosquitoes away. Tracing my fingers over these damp ancient pipes is crazy because the entire irrigation system is basically a giant gravity-defying engineering miracle. The royal entrance is draped with these incredibly heavy velvet curtains to block the intense heat, making the interior feel completely air-conditioned. Shielding my eyes because the sunset reflecting off the golden statues across the city is absolutely blinding, but it is a gorgeous view. I found this tiny bright yellow wildflower growing straight out of a crack in the mud bricks, showing how nature just takes over. That massive wooden bucket just tipped over entirely too early, splashing a ridiculous amount of river water directly onto the stone stairs below. A servant let me hold this heavy silver serving platter for a second, and the intricate animal carvings on the edge are stunning. Leaning against this cool stone block for a quick rest, because scaling 5 layers of hanging gardens is literally the ultimate stairmaster. I am carrying this heavy clay water jug to help out one of the tired gardeners, and my arms are burning so bad. Wiping a stray water droplet off my nose, because standing this close to the main aqueduct is basically like being inside a waterfall. This golden plate is completely covered in tiny lapis lazuli stones, showing off exactly how wealthy the royal family of Babylon really is. I am holding my hand out to catch this surprisingly cool breeze up here, which is definitely a welcome break from the heat. These massive woven baskets are literally overflowing with freshly picked dates, and they smell incredibly sweet baking in the hot afternoon sun today. That massive wooden beam holding the aqueduct is wrapped in thick bitumen to waterproof it, which is honestly a brilliant ancient engineering trick. Fixing my hair really quick because the humidity inside this shaded pavilion is basically turning my voluminous curls into an absolute wild mess. If you look closely past the edge, you can see a massive stepped ziggurat standing tall right in the middle of the city. One of the gardeners let me feel this coarse linen fabric they use for carrying soil, and it is surprisingly rough but sturdy. I actually have to cover my ear because the groaning sound of these giant wooden gears grinding together is honestly almost deafening here. The walls behind me are covered in these incredibly vivid painted murals depicting lions and dragons, which look so majestic and slightly terrifying. My heart is literally full just standing up here on the highest terrace, taking in the epic view of this legendary ancient wonder. I am touching one of these baked clay bricks, and you can clearly see the ancient cuneiform writing stamped right into the side. The water flowing through this stone channel is moving incredibly fast, bringing life to all the exotic plants covering these massive terraced walls. I just found this delicate white flower growing near the royal seats, and it smells exactly like fresh jasmine blooming in the spring. Looking over my shoulder, because the sheer drop down to the city streets from this high terrace is literally giving me dizzy spells. A passing trader let me ring this tiny bronze bell, and the sharp sound echoes perfectly against these massive mud brick walls here. Wiping the cool mist from my forehead again, because standing next to these giant wooden wheels is basically like taking a cold shower. Adjusting this heavy golden ring a local merchant let me try on, the craftsmanship of ancient Babylonian jewelry is just completely blowing my mind. If you look all the way to the horizon, you can see the dusty desert landscape contrasting so hard against this green paradise. The gardeners are planting these tiny exotic seeds everywhere, constantly replacing the old flowers to keep the terraces looking lush and fully alive. That thick woven rope right there is holding the entire bucket system together, turning endlessly as the water gets pulled from the river. I just sat down on this incredibly soft silk cushion, and honestly, my tired feet are screaming with happiness after climbing those stairs. Leaning over the edge up here is wild because you can clearly see the royal procession marching through the bustling city streets way below. A local artisan just showed me this raw piece of lapis lazuli stone, and the deep, rich blue color is absolutely mesmerizing to see. I have to cover my nose a bit here because the wet mud and dark river water have a very strong, earthy marsh smell. The servants are carrying these massive golden cups filled with sweet wine, and the way the heavy metal shines in the bright sun is crazy. Look at that colorful exotic bird flying right past me. They literally imported wild animals just to make these hanging gardens feel completely authentic. I am trying to balance this empty woven basket on my hip like the local women do, but it is way harder than it looks. These giant ferns growing near the splashing buckets are literally the size of small trees, soaking up all the endless artificial rain perfectly. Smoothing down my dress because sitting on these low, ancient wooden benches is pretty awkward when you are trying to keep a cute aesthetic. Taking a massive deep breath of the fresh air up here, safely away from the thick smoke and dust of the busy city streets below. I just noticed these painted clay tiles lining the lower walkways, featuring these super intricate geometric patterns in bright yellows and deep river blues. Every time those massive buckets reach the top, you can hear a loud wooden click before the fresh river water pours down the stone channel. One of the royal handmaidens let me smell this tiny vial of concentrated flower oil, and it is honestly stronger than any modern perfume. The sun is starting to dip lower in the sky, casting these massive long shadows across the entire sprawling ancient city of Babylon. I keep finding these perfectly smooth, polished river stones scattered around the dirt paths, probably carried all the way up from the Euphrates banks. They use these incredibly thick braided leather straps to reinforce the wooden machinery, preventing the whole irrigation system from literally snapping under the heavy water. Those royal guards stationed at the entrance are holding these massive bronze spears, taking their job of protecting this private garden extremely seriously today. Just resting my hand on this warm, sun-baked mud brick wall, taking a quiet moment to fully absorb the epic scale of this ancient wonder. The workers actually grow basic vegetables like these strong green onions right alongside the exotic flowers to feed the massive staff maintaining the gardens. Another massive splash of cold water just hit my cheek, but honestly, I am so tired from climbing that I completely welcome the refreshing spray. I am taking this tiny golden trinket back as a souvenir, and it perfectly captures the insane luxury of this ancient royal paradise. The sun is finally starting to set, and the entire city of Babylon is glowing with this gorgeous, deep orange and purple light. The gardeners are already starting to light these massive oil torches along the paths, getting ready for the dark desert night ahead. The water wheels never stop turning, even as it gets dark, proving that maintaining this green oasis is literally a full-time job. The night-blooming flowers are just starting to open up, releasing this incredibly rich perfume that makes the whole terrace smell absolutely divine. You can already see the first bright stars appearing in the sky, and without modern light pollution, the view is going to be epic. Saying a quick goodbye to the tired workers heading home for the night. They really are the true heroes keeping this wonder alive. My hair is completely wrecked from the humidity and the desert wind, but I honestly could not care less right now, guys. The temperature is dropping fast now that the sun is gone, so I am very glad this linen tunic is actually quite warm. This has genuinely been the most breathtaking travel experience of my entire life, seeing a lost wonder of the world with my own eyes. Walking back down the lower levels feels totally different at twilight. The shadows are super long and everything feels incredibly quiet and peaceful. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this crazy historical adventure through the legendary Hanging Gardens of Babylon today. Love you. Make sure to drop a comment telling me which ancient era I should travel to next. Stay safe, and I will see you later.